They can't see our faces.
Get my background going here.
I need you to record, like erase the first 15 minutes of whatever we were talking about my eyesight.
It wasn't on there, I don't think. Okay. March 2nd. Okay, May 5th, minutes, attended by myself, all three board members, Paul McGinn, Todd Craighead, and 7 officers. Liz Ringberg, Connie Rittberger, Misty Clark, Mary Adkins, Charles Smith. Minutes from the April 2025 meeting were read and approved by the board. Open issues were ordinances, lawyer contracting, Keyser grant, rental of the back lot, gas stove replacement. Updates were the swing was installed. Talked about the down line along the community building property. We still don't know who owns that. That talked about the regulatory commission, if we can figure out who owns it, may be able to assist in getting it removed. I had an offer from the Henyard County Community Foundation to share the cost of a dumpster for a week, but the board didn't take any action on that. Michael had provided the information or letter to the barber shop that they needed. Trash trailer uptown was removed. Community crossings grant applications were discussed. The call for those was in January and July, and since we haven't heard anything from Keyser, assume that's not going to be happening this year. Michael said he had last spoke with them in October, and he would reach out to them again. The farmer proposed donating his time and equipment for mowing the back lot approximately 3 times per year at no cost. He would bale it, and the town would donate the hay to organizations or individuals in need. The farmer would also remove any invasive or dying trees and plants. Liz had proposed that the town could sell that land if the town doesn't want to maintain that portion of the property. It was discussed that a written offer would be needed, and there would likely need to be open bidding to the public. There was further discussions about use of the land and the possibility of selling it, zoning and ordinances, and ultimately Jason decided that he would further research that the land can be used or zoned for agricultural use, and there was no resolution on the topic. Mary asked about planting memorial trees in the park. Michael announced that Chris Pickens had been terminated from Greensboro Police Department as the Chief of Police Conduct Unbecoming of an officer. There was an ongoing investigation at that time. Liz asked if the behavior had been in the course of represented in Greensboro Police Department, and Michael advised that it was. Charles Smith suggested that the town board needs to have additional oversight of the police department. Paul McGinn advised the town ordinance that created the police department states the chief is to act for communication with the president or their designee. He intends to ensure this is happening from this point forward. All board members iterated that McGinn had already stepped up to that expectation. Paul McGinn is the interim chief until further notice. Monthly stats were reported and attached to minutes. The police are no longer pursuing other insurance companies at this time as far as comparing rates. Police department said that they would be increasing the number of officers on patrol for nights that Mount Lawn holds races. The fire department was accepted for their second round for the grant to purchase a generator, and they were still considering putting in a separate well for the fire department. And that is it for May meeting.
And the fire department did get their grant.
Yes. And do you know if they ever got in contact with, Tank Farm or, the gas company? I can't remember, Keystone.
No.
Okay. Ben had contacted me, and I contacted the gas company and said, hey, you know, we got this generator, we need a line, ran to the tank. They were basically like, okay, we'll get it set up, we'll call you back, yada, yada. I gave him his phone number, hey, this is the person you really need to talk to, contact. But I haven't touched base with him since then, so I don't know if,
I know there were several of them down here the other day. So.
may still be ongoing. I need to, do an additional appropriation for the general fund. So I will post that as required this month in the, Courier Times. And then you guys will vote on it and sign at the next meeting. Of course, budget will be coming out pretty soon too, so as soon as I have information about that, I'll be talking to you guys about that as well. I did start a new binder here for us for the monthly things, if we can try to pass that along to each other, you know, as you're sharing the responsibility. And I tried to put a little bit of instruction in here. Again, you know, would really like you guys to be reviewing that, so you're aware of what's going on with money, where we stand. Really like to review it so you can catch any errors that I make, because usually I go to do stuff and then I'm like, oh look, I made an error last month in my math, and then I have to fix that. So anyways, just to keep us all on the same page and reduce any issues there. Have you talked to Kaiser?
I reached out, and no response from him.
I did print out a couple of a couple of the state statute that applies to open door meetings, just for some of our discussion earlier. If you guys want to have those, you're welcome to them. My understanding is pretty much there's not very many exceptions to things that should be decided outside of a public meeting. You know, you can call an executive meeting that's not open to the public, but you have to advertise it first for so many days beforehand or whatever. I'm sure I'll think of something else here in a few minutes.
Is this website, in.gov?
Yes, you can find stuff there. Usually I'll start out with a Google search, and a lot of times that Justia website will come up, and that gives me the statute, and then I can copy what that statute is and then find it on Indiana.gov. That works a little easier for me.
Okay.
Justia it's pretty good. You know, it pretty much gives you everything. But you know, if you can pull it from the direct source, that's probably better. So obviously I have the mountain of mulch out there that I'm still trying to move around. This happened with the concrete too, the amount that they estimated that I needed to have, and like discussing my DIY skills here, not the best. And then they're like, this is how much you need, and I'm like, okay. And then we get it here and it's like, that's way more than we needed, but it's already paid for, so, you know, if anybody knows somebody with a bobcat, a skid steer, whatever you want to call it, something with a great big bucket that can help move that stuff around a lot faster than a wheelbarrow and a lawnmower cart, man, I'd really appreciate it. That's about all.
But all of your efforts are greatly appreciated. We see you out there all
It's
the
a lot
time,
of effort.
so.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't call me. I'd love to come help.
whatever they got for you guys right
As
now.
far as the park thing, that's a Jason
Yeah.
project. He was supposed to reach out to the farmer. Haven't heard anything from him on that.
I had a thought while I was out here working the other day, 'cause I know he said that it was due to be done. At the very least, do you think we could tell him, go ahead and do it for now unless other decision is made? Whatever you guys think.
I agree, just like, go ahead and have them do it,
Yeah, get it cut.
yeah.
And then, I mean, you guys can think more about, you know, whether you wanna seriously consider selling that property or,
I honestly don't think that's a good option
I don't
right now
either,
for the town.
yeah.
well, then it sounds like we can just table that issue and you guys make that vote. You're not gonna put it up for sale, and then we just have to have somebody reach out to the farmer to give him the green light. Does that sound right?
Mhm.
Yep. Let's see. Do you have any new business, Jennifer?
Mhm.
The only new business I have would be, through our text conversation and whatnot, the board, I'm gonna make a motion to, hire Deputy Chief Paul McGann as full-time police chief. We've all been in talks about it and feel that he is going to be the best person for this job to take over the role of police chief. So I will make that motion.
I second it.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and do the oath then.
We can.
No, it's on there.
All right.
We have
So,
a Bible. Do you have a Bible?
I'll get one out.
do we need that?
Yes.
Oh, what do you need?
My
A
Bible.
Bible.
Mine's in the car still.
I don't have it in here, sorry. Misplaced.
So I think how this works is I read it and you repeat after me.
That's correct.
Sound right? Okay. Paul McGinn Jr., being duly sworn upon his oath, says, I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Indiana,
and of the state of Indiana.
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties as a police officer.
I'm going to try to get that all out. I will faithfully, honestly, impartially
discharge
discharge, sorry, there was a lot there,
the
the
duties
duties
as a police
of the
officer
police officer
for the town of Greensboro,
for the town of Greensboro,
Henry County, state of Indiana,
Henry County, state of Indiana,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank you.
And everybody puts their John Hancock. And then you guys were gonna talk about the remaining, portion of the police department's appropriation.
Yeah. I will make the motion to go ahead and give the police department their remaining, what is it, 2,600?
Yes.
I do have a question about that. The appropriation originally had a $2,400 salary incorporated for chief payments. With that being said, was he paid his first 6 months portion? He was not paid his first 6 months.
No, because I do it in May and November.
Okay.
And my political board advised me to hold off on that under the circumstances.
Correct.
But the 2,600 that's left is half of, Yeah.
Correct, I understand. I just didn't know if that salary had been already paid or not. So,
no, we're waiting, I guess,
Yes,
to see
ma'am.
how everything
Understood. Thank you.
pans out. I have that check ready.
I have it.
It was in there.
Oh, okay,
I passed it
all
on.
right, that's good.
And I
As
did.
long as we know where it's at.
I just have our stuff.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, all right. For the month of April, the month of May, the police department put in 379 patrol hours. We had 228 admin hours, 12 training hours, 139 business checks, 28 dispatch runs, 53 warnings, 15 uniform traffic citations, 68 traffic stops, and the officers also put in approximately 70 hours of what we're calling a special event. That is primarily when Mount Lawn is open. We had quite a few complaints that I received in regards to race drivers speeding through town, so on and so forth. So the officers stepped up and in just a couple of weeks put in 70 hours just on the Saturday nights. So that being said, there was some banter going on online in regards to, you know, us being out here. At the end of the day, I'm glad they put it out there because it kept a lot of people from coming back through the town. Nobody wanted to drive back through here because the police were out. So we solved the problem by having the presence. There was actually somebody that was pulled over that made a statement in regards to it and said, hey, they got me. And that person didn't receive a ticket. However, they started letting everybody else know. These guys are out there and they're trying to get everybody to slow down. So with that being said, we slowed the traffic down, but then we also slowed traffic down because they started going another route instead of traveling on the pike. So we've accomplished our goal, and we're going to continue to have officers out on Saturday nights extra for this specific reason. So.
You might wanna watch their schedule, cause they don't do it every Saturday.
Correct. That's why we didn't have anybody out on the 31st. The major and the lieutenant have that schedule for the officers, and we're doing it on a weekly basis because if it gets rained out, I'm not going to pre-schedule the officers because there's no reason for them to come out and saturate per se on inclement weather days because they're going to be closed anyway.
So now that school will be out. It's out now. Yeah, Friday, last day. So is there gonna be more patrol around?
So the way the schedule is working right now, and this month we do have some training, which is going to take away some road hours, okay? But we have an officer on every single day, at least one officer on. Some days we have two. Those officers are working 8-hour shifts. So there's days that we have 8 hours of coverage. Some days we have 16. Our schedule for last month, unfortunately, was not put into place by myself or the current supervisors. So that schedule was not as put together as well as I would have liked it to have been. But I walked into the door on that one, unfortunately. So now that we're there, we do have some officers that work during the day. We have some that work at night. We have some that work overnight. So it just depends. Like on Sunday, this past Sunday, we had one officer out, and he came out and worked from 7 at night till 2 in the morning. So, or 3 in the morning, excuse me. So the day before, I had an officer out from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. So it just depends. It all depends on the scheduling and how it falls. So if there's a specific time, let us know and we'll see if we can accommodate that. Just gotta remember, everybody has a full-time job, so we're all trying to work around that full-time schedule, so.
You have anything else?
I don't think so. Did you want to reach out to the farmer since you
Yeah.
contacted him before? I don't know him.
Yeah, I will. Does public have anything this month?
I do.
Yes, Mrs. Gill.
I was wondering if the board, would be okay with me using the community building for, I don't know, I really haven't got a whole plan set out yet, but I feel very strongly that, I would like to start a Bible study. And, I would like to have that here if possible, maybe, twice a month is my thought right now, just for a few hours, just to see who comes and if anybody comes. But that's kind of my plan right now, but I wanted to check with the board to see. I just don't feel like my home would be the appropriate place to do that at this point.
I don't have a problem with it. As long as it's not already booked.
Right, it would probably be during the weekday in the evening, like for an hour or something like that. I mean, unless it goes really well, then maybe 2 hours, but I'm definitely gonna put it, like, I'm not gonna be here all night. So, but,
Depends on who comes and how much.
right, I mean, I would, but, that's just kind of my preliminary thought right now.
I don't have an issue with it.
I don't either.
And we're talking about there obviously wouldn't be a charge for that.
I was hoping, if it got big enough and we were using the restrooms a lot like that and stuff like that, then, or here for a long time and using a lot of electricity, then I wouldn't mind asking people to chip in, to pay every time, but maybe just to start, if I could, just to see what happens, and then we can go from there.
That works. I'm fine with that.
Approved.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have anything else?
Bless you.
Meeting adjourned and record time?
Right, 6:57.
Good, Jason